In everything workforce, International Women's Day and Women's History Month, and most, if not all, girl power programs are euphemisms for female employee supremacy. Supremacy over her male colleagues and co-workers, which deserve its own separate attention, which I will do in the future, and supremacy over her employer, may they be male or female. In this video, I will present you with a point of view you never heard from, a point of view that is most unfairly stripped of all legitimacy in its cry for help. The point of view of the employer, oh my, and again, male or female employer alike. Employees as a whole, female employees in particular, do not like to listen to this point of view. It is easier to hide behind your victim mentality, in which for once, binary is all the rage. You are either a female employee whom deserves anything and everything, always, because, well, patriarchy, duh, or you are the horrible, mean employer, a capitalistic pig whom is to blame and should pay the price and be thankful his or her business is even allowed to exist. But understanding your employer's point of view is crucial. If not for anything else like fairness, effective communication, etc., then for your own personal gain. You cannot get that promotion and or pay raise you want without it. As I often stress in my videos, your employer is your first and foremost customer. Top-notch customer service does not exist without thoroughly understanding your customers' pain points and then addressing them with a fix. Unfortunately, this lack of willingness to hear employers' point of view that relays their ever-increasing plight, let alone willingness to understand it, is being rewarded in the workplace today. How? The unspoken truth is that many female employees do get that promotion and or pay raise even without catering to their employer's performance needs. This is the result of social and political and legal pressures that divorce business-wise value from the employer's decision. This open letter to the powers that be and make the rules is based on both my personal and professional experience of some 3 decades, no less. So, on this International Women's Day and Women's History Month, hear the plight of us employers if fairness, true fairness, is a consideration for you. You may not like what I'm about to say, but if you appreciate the fact that I'm saying it, and if you acknowledge the arguments I'm putting forth, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to get more of our usual programming of how to get a promotion and a pay raise, and hit the notification bell so that we can meet again. Hi, I'm the Boss Problem Buster, founder of the Pay Raise Commando, a senior organizational consultant of 24 years, having worked across cultures, industries, and ranks with 7,250 employees trained between us, my team and I. Yeah, I said it right, 7,250. I'm also a social psychologist with a master's and a bachelor's degree, both with honors. My team and I train passed over corporate professionals like you to get that pay raise and promotion you're overdue for, so that you can finally kill your Monday blues and bring your inner joy back, which is the best part about my job and the goal of this channel. Kill your Monday blues and bring your inner joy back. Now back to the salt mines. To us business owners, International Women's Day and Women's History Month are the insult to injury pinnacle of the workforce charade we are forced to play all year long. A charade so progressive in its never-ending demand for ever more one-sided legislation over female employees' rights that it ever more casually, unscrupulously, and brutally stomps all over ours. The only progressive aspect of this legislation that should be dubbed "the employer is dead to us, long live the female employee." So the only progressive aspect of this legislation is its constant progression towards complete and total obliteration of employers' most basic of rights to hire or not, employ or not, raise pay or not, promote or not, female employees and applicants according to their business-wise value or lack thereof. For this is a topsy-turvy employment order we live in, one in which the power rests not with the employer, the one who's creating the jobs, providing the opportunity, taking the risk, and shelling out the money, but with a female employee whom is getting the job, getting the opportunity, not sharing any of the risk, and getting the money. The beauty of female empowerment a la nowadays feminists. Empowerment. Has there ever been a more diluted and prostitutionalized trope? I don't think so. And mind you, all this legislation that creates this topsy-turvy workforce does not apply to and is not concerned with male employees. So it has nothing to do with equality between the sexes in the workplace, but with the supremacy of women in the workplace. Why? Because all of the equal employment opportunity laws are already in place, regardless of gender. Thus, every new female exclusive or just female prone additional law, regulation, or binding best practices is by definition the practice of female supremacy, a nefarious practice that we employers are forced and coerced into executing. The number one taboo in this context is the right of an employer to know the intentions of a female applicant or employee regarding having children, i.e. if, when, and approximately how many when considering her for hiring or promotion. This is the elephant in the room. Indeed, it is an inconvenient truth not to be acknowledged, let alone admitted, lest the wrath of the keyboard mob descends on one, lest one be cancelled, or even worse yet, lest one be sued for everything one has or doesn't have. How did this happen? How did a nation, originally so celebrating of entrepreneurship as the core of its success, how did it come to regard employers as both the immediate suspect on all the evils of gender inequality in the workplace and the vessel and conduit, a coerced dumping ground, more like it, the vessel and conduit to all social engineering legislative endeavors to correct said inequality? How? The answer is employers are easy mark patsies. We were the only ones left standing once the music has stopped in this metaphoric musical chairs game. When did it stop? When legal gender equality was achieved. Everything the feminist movement ever fought for was realized. I'm talking about the West. The feminist movement of which I was once proudly a part of. But then the unthinkable happened. Women were still not happy. If anything, they were growing to be even more frustrated than ever. Did it make women pause and take honest stock as to the real reason why? No. Had they done so, the B word, meaning biology, pardon my French, maybe I should bleep it. Had they done so, that B word for biology would have had to be acknowledged. Acknowledged as the driving force behind men and women having different priorities, interests, and lifestyle choices, which in turn influence occupational choices and workplace behaviors from which promotions and pay raises and bonuses are derived. But that would have been too devastating, as it overthrows the entire premise of feminism. The patriarchy is to blame for everything, specifically the overwhelming and near impossible push-pull dynamics of work versus family. Take away the villain, take away the cause, thus rendering the heroine's journey against said patriarchy unmerited and downright pointless. Because if it's biology and not the patriarchy, what is the point? Was the whole thing self-deceit, a lie, a mistake, all of the above? Either way, you are left without a story to tell yourself and others, and so the biology factual explanation for the differences in outcomes between men and women in the workplace was out. Plus, conceding to biology would have been too devastating on yet another level. Loss of power, clout, influence, status, and money. Oh, so much money would have been denied the feminist movement and all its derivatives. Money from donations, from grants, private, federal, state, from speaking engagements, from magazines and books and documentaries, from counseling governments and other officials in regard to women's issues. The loot, oops, lot, Freudian slip. And of course, without the patriarchy to conveniently blame for everything, there will be no gender studies faculties. Imagine that. After all, we do need to take care of all those F in scholarship, A in agenda and indoctrination professors, and their good-for-nothing counterparts, the administrators, and surely we don't want to deny all those TV social justice warriors their livelihood, nor the online social justice warriors their ad revenue. The poor things will have nothing to say. Yes, in case you didn't know, or are too naive, or too infused with ideology to realize, or you just never stop to think about it, the feminist movement is a business, and a very well-oiled machine at that. And just as any other business, it needs to keep things rolling by constantly churning those revenues. And the way to do that is to shout patriarchy whenever biology is at play. And so, once again, the biology factual explanation for the differences in outcomes between men and women in the workplace was tossed aside with a vengeance. And thus, the feminist female employee machine went back on the market in search for a new villain. How about your spouse, the father of your children? Maybe you should confront him with gender equality in the home, as gender equality in the workplace is a direct result of it. Nah, that wouldn't do either. Relationships are hard enough as it is. Besides, he may leave, and who wants to lose their man? Yeah, you're an independent woman, but that only means you want to get to the point where you earn enough money so that you can leave him if you want to. And no worries, you'd get the kids anyway. Female empowerment qualifies for family court just as well as the workplace. But wait, there is a way to still keep the patriarchy villain, thus avoiding dealing with both the biological facts and home front personal choices. Let's just put the blame on the patriarchy in the workplace, best represented by whom else? Employers. Problem solved. Many employers are men anyway, so the patriarchy is conveniently built right into it. And if an employer is a woman like me, no worries. We can contrive a fix for that too. Internalized patriarchy. Ingenious. Plus, employers, unlike the amorphic patriarchy of general society, employers are tangible, easy to define, locate, legislate, and regulate. Bingo! Yeah, their power structure is based on merit in the form of actually building something from scratch against all odds, whereas the power structure of the patriarchy in society as a whole is based on the supposed unmerited takeover by men. So employers' power is merited. But hey, who's going to fact check us, female employee machine, on that? Mainstream media? Gender studies faculties? They're all in on it. They share the loot. No slip here. So, solution for the quest for a villain? Let's penalize employers for the pregnancies they didn't have anything to do with. Let's force them to hire us, not fire us, and promote us, even when we're due to give birth in 24 hours. Even when we've just embarked on the multi-year physically and emotionally and mentally draining roller coaster that is IVF, in vitro fertilization, which we don't reveal, of course, because, well, haven't women suffered enough? Don't we deserve a break? Yeah, it is immensely unfair to the employer, but hey, that's what you get for being a part of a patriarchy. So, indeed, every employment interaction nowadays of an employer and a female applicant or employee or candidate for promotion is executed under duress, under a constant, palpable, implicit threat. It's just there, hovering. Dare not give me what I want just because I'm a woman, and also empowered one at that, and I can take you down. A big business will suffer, but contain it. A small one like mine can very easily go under. So who's the real boss? Who's really in power? Who's the real victim here? Exactly. And you want us to keep playing these charades on International Women's Day, Women's History Month? No, no way. Enough is enough. This needs to change. The first order of business of such a change, were it to ever realize, one is still allowed to fantasize, right? That would be to reinstate any and every question pertaining to the intentions, plans, and dreams of female applicants, employees, and candidates for promotion regarding family and kids, including their true prioritization when these clash with work, as they do on a daily basis. And I say true prioritization because often in such circumstances, women reassure employers they're all about the job, whereas in practice, they act completely opposite. Some would call it lying, being disingenuous, having no integrity. Some, not me, some. And the pièce de résistance question to be reinstated in the workplace, which is sure to garner me the most maligned, slandered, vicious ad hominems, the likes of which only the thoughtful, peace-loving, equality keyboard activists and their fully indoctrinated cult card-carrying gender studies mentors are capable of. So the pièce de résistance question to be reinstated in the workplace is, drum roll please, wait for it, it's really big. No employer who ever attempted it was ever heard from again. Okay, here goes. Are you currently pregnant or trying to be? The shock, the horror. How dare a business owner take into account the number one pertinent factor before making a call regarding a female applicant or employee or candidate for promotion or pay raise? How indeed the goal. And you may ask, how do we reconcile these reproductive realities with the business realities? That's a great question, one that is not easily answered, but it is beyond the scope of this video and not the point of it. So don't use it as an excuse to avoid acknowledging all that I've put before you. This video is about understanding and having a sliver of empathy for employers' plight in regard to women's reproductive and family choices that is paralyzing employers' running of their businesses and is costing them a fortune and is simply unfair. Talk about social justice. As it is victimhood that the zeitgeist dictates, assigns, and celebrates, at least let it be one of true merit. You were just presented with a clear-cut case for employers' true plight. Surely that puts us right up there on the top of the totem pole that is Oppression Olympics. Surely this is right up there with the most downtrodden, non-binary, gender-fluid, alphabet soup people. At least there, as victims, we can finally be allowed to win. A Pyrrhic victory, no doubt, but one takes what one can get.